Imagine giving your whole life to your family, only for your own daughter to tell you you're useless now and to go find somewhere else to die. That was the moment everything changed for me. 3 days after being kicked out of my own home, I found myself in a lawyer's office learning that my loving husband had secretly prepared the greatest checkmate of all time. And suddenly, the pawn in this family story was becoming the queen. Let me tell you how I went from a grieving, homeless widow to the woman holding all the power, and why my daughter will regret underestimating me. 2 months earlier, I was just Margaret Sullivan, wife of 43 years, mother to one spectacularly ungrateful daughter, Victoria. When my husband Robert died, I thought my world ended. But Victoria saw opportunity. She wrapped her greed in fake concern. "Mom, this big house is too much for you, you should move somewhere small, somewhere safe." What she meant was, "Get out so I can take everything." Robert always adored her, the princess with a rich husband, perfect kids, and endless entitlement. And I was simply the woman who cooked, cleaned, and made sure their world ran smoothly. After the funeral, she pushed harder. She and her husband Kevin cornered me with brochures for retirement homes. Each visit chipped away at me. Until the day she walked in with suitcases and said, "Mom, Kevin got promoted. We're moving in. This house is perfect for us." When I protested, confused, the mask finally dropped. She told me the house and money were hers, that I should be grateful she'd let me stay, and then delivered the dagger, "Find somewhere else to die." After 43 years of marriage, my life fit into 2 suitcases. They dumped me at a cheap motel with $200 like I was trash to be taken out. But in that sad little room, I remembered something. Robert was always careful with paperwork. He would never leave me with nothing. So the next morning, I went to his lawyer, Mr. Fitzgerald. The shock on his face when I said Victoria told me I inherited nothing said everything. He pulled out the real will, the one Victoria hid. And then the world flipped. Robert left me the house. 70% of the money. Over $23 million. And Victoria? She only got $10 million if she treated me with respect after he died. Which she absolutely did not. Meaning, I now inherited everything. Over $33 million. Victoria's greed had cost her everything she wanted. From there, we called the banks, police, everyone. All accounts were frozen. Victoria's credit card stopped working. Her power evaporated. She called me in a panic. Tried to gaslight, manipulate, deny. When that failed, she begged. Too late. That evening, she and her criminal husband were arrested, mid-fancy dinner, for elder fraud and forgery. And I slept in my house again for the first time, realizing it was finally mine, not Robert's, not theirs. Mine. But here's where the story twisted again. Kevin's wealthy mother tried bribing me, $2 million, then $5 million, to drop the charges. And when I refused, she threatened to expose secrets about Robert's business. I didn't flinch, until my lawyer and a private investigator uncovered the truth. Robert had been laundering money for over a decade. Illegal funds flowed through accounts that were now legally mine. And Victoria's lawyers knew. They planned to use that to walk free. Now I wasn't just fighting for justice. I was fighting to keep everything, my home, my name, my future. My husband wasn't the man I thought he was, and my daughter wasn't either. But I wasn't the weak mother they believed I was either. I had been underestimated my entire life. Not anymore. Because no matter how messy the truth gets, I'm the one holding the cards now. And honey, this game? It's far from over. You'd think discovering your dead husband was a criminal would break you. But after being thrown away like trash by my own daughter, I refused to fall apart. Instead, I poured myself a glass of the expensive wine Kevin gifted us, and now I knew it was technically bought with my dirty money, and I planned my next move. If Victoria and Kevin exposed Robert's crimes to save themselves, I would lose everything. The house. The fortune. Even my freedom. They weren't just greedy anymore, they were dangerous. So I decided something important. If my life was going to burn, they were going to burn with me. I started preparing. I worked with the investigator and the lawyer. We built a case showing I knew nothing about Robert's crimes. And we gathered every piece of proof that Victoria and Kevin knowingly forged documents to steal from me. If they wanted a war, I'd finish it. Meanwhile, Victoria reached out like a child afraid of the dark. She showed up crying, begging, insisting she never meant to hurt me. But I'd heard enough pretty lies from pretty faces in that family. I showed her the video message Robert recorded, the one predicting her greed perfectly. And when she realized her own father prepared for this betrayal, something in her finally shattered. She asked what happens next. I told her the truth. She faces consequences, real ones. Court hearings began. The press swarmed. Headlines everywhere. Daughter arrested for stealing elderly mother's inheritance. Kevin tried to blame Victoria. Victoria tried to blame grief. Their lawyers tried to blame me. But evidence doesn't lie. And every time they tried to twist the story, I stood taller. For once, they had to listen. Then came the twist I didn't expect. Robert's money laundering case exploded into a full investigation. The FBI dug into everything. They tried to make me answer for Robert's sins, but the truth saved me. I wasn't the mastermind. I wasn't the accomplice. I was the victim. In the end, the judge froze every illegal dollar, but I kept what was clean and rightfully mine, including my home. Victoria and Kevin avoided prison by fully cooperating, but they lost everything. Their status. Their wealth. Their reputations. They had to start from scratch, while the whole city whispered their shame. The house is quiet now, but not lonely. For the first time, I walk these halls knowing they belong to me, not as a wife, not as a mother, but as a woman who finally learned her own worth. Funny how life works, isn't it? The pawn they thought they could sacrifice became the queen who won the game. And honey, I will never let anyone make me feel useless again.